technology is always a solution in the crisis. So technology will be really handy. There are multiple areas in which this technology would be adopted. One area is in the conduction of admission tests. The other area where technology definitely will play a most important role is in the learning space.
For online education to really become mainstream and enroll millions of students rather than hundreds of thousands of students, we need to have online degrees that are accredited by the various agencies.
My message to all the students and the higher education stakeholders is we need to double our efforts in this time in order to sustain and keep our economy afloat.
In India, we have to look at technology and education 4.0 as actually providing education to the uneducated, people who are not getting quality education.
Education 3.0 was nothing but technology driven. This is now going to be a permanent feature and is now going to figure in all the teaching learning activities of times to come.
Hello everyone, I welcome you all to another chapter of College Dunia Connect in association with Tribe Student Accommodation. My name is Twinkle from College Dunia Private Limited, India's largest review platform and leading search engine portal for higher education in India. Today, we are going to discuss reinventing the student living experience and campus life in the new normal. So I will give a quick brief about the topic. So, as we know, universities have seen a drastic change in the last 18 months, altering their practices and their environment to cope with the pandemic. From remote classes to reopening of the campuses, the institutes have to be ready to reinvent campus life for students. So it has become essential because for the students, apart from studies, it is important to maintain equilibrium by socializing, relaxing, and enjoying themselves on campus. So, we have invited today thought leaders from top institutions of India and leaders from the industry to know their insightful thoughts on reinventing student learning experience in the new normal. So now, I would like to thank all the panelists for joining us today. We have with us Dr. Asmita Chitnis, Director, Symbiosis Institute of International Business. Thank you, Dr. Chitnis, for coming today.
Thanks for having me.
And now, ma'am, I would like to have your quick opening remarks for this session.
Oh, so fine. So thank you so much for having me. I think it's a good initiative and it's very much important for all of us from the higher education institutes to understand how we are going to cope up with this situation.
Hello?
Because if you asked me last month, we were really hopeful that the situation is coming back to normal. We thought so, but suddenly since last 1 week or so, we are hearing about the new virus, and we really don't know how things will pan out going forward. But as I understand, of course, we are ready now.
I would request other panelists to please switch off their audio while other speakers are speaking. Yes, thank you.
So how Omicron is going to pan out, we really don't know. But one thing is for sure that in last 18 months, we all have learned to deal with the situation. I think what situation we were in last June or July, it's definitely it had changed now. And people have understood one thing, that this virus is going to go away so quickly. And so we need to learn to live with it. And secondly, we also need to focus on this learning of students in the higher education institutes, and we need to create an conducive environment so that if it is conducive, then people would like to come forward and be a part of this process. So I think it is important that we share what we feel in this current situation. What are the measures that every institute is taking so that they make the life of their students more comfortable, and which will in fact encourage them to come forward and stay on the campus. Especially it is important where there are residential campuses and residential programs, that are on the offer. So thank you so much once again for having me here. I will, of course, I will give my opinion and remarks whenever the time comes. But thank you so much once again.
Thank you, Dr. Smita. Now, I would like to welcome Dr. Tarun Pratap Singh. Welcome, sir. I would like to have a quick opening remarks for the session.
Yeah, thank you to invite me on this August gathering where that
Can you please ask other panelists to mute their phone?
Dr. Patil, can you please switch off your audio? Yes. Yes, Dr. Tarun.
So thank you to invite me on this August gathering, where that all industrialists and educationists are on the same platform to identifying and also going to be discussed about that what are the measures supposed to be taken while we are going to be open our campuses. And it is very important because that last month when we have received some guidelines from the government to open a postgraduate program, offline postgraduate program. So we were having apprehension then what is going to be happen that the first week or the second week. But luckily when that we have opened and when we started our programs, we got that the new things, new initiative we have taken for that how to start that offline classes. Now that the things are moving that differently because that the earlier that we were thinking now things are going to be subsided. But what that the last week as Dr. Chitnis also mentioned that how Omicron has panning that all across world. And what is going to be happen in coming 2 week or 3 week, we are also speculating that the things would be better actually, that the particular virus would not be as effective as the Delta virus. So we are having the finger crossed, but yes, with that offline education, that health and hygiene is also very much important. However, the learning is more important while you have in the offline, but we are putting that the health and hygiene, both learning as well as that health. So thank you again for inviting me on this discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to invite Dr. Prakash H. Patil. Welcome, sir. Thanks for coming. I would like to have a quick opening. Yes, sir.
Good morning, all panelist members and College Dunia for organizing such a great event that is on the subject of reinventing the student living experience and campus life in the new normal. Am I clearly audible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes. So because of this COVID-19 and the post-COVID, there are so many problems out there with the students, of the society, for the parents. So we have to all the educators of the educational institutes should keep in mind that they should provide proper safety to the students, and we should ensure all the teachers who are teaching, as far as teaching learning is concerned, they should ensure that there is a proper engagement is there, student engagement is there, and we should take care of the students during the live sessions. So how to take the care before the session, during the session, and after the session, that is very important. And we should create the confidence amongst the students and the parents and all the stakeholders, so that they will believe on us, and we are taking care of the students properly in the campus, and there will not be anything else in the mind of the parents, and as far as the safety is concerned, and we can do the miracles as far as after this new normal COVID-19.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Dr. Patil. Thank you so much. Now I would like to invite Dr. Sandeep Tapkir, Head School of Hotel Management, Ajinkya D.Y. Patil University. Welcome, sir. Yes, you are muted.
Yeah, a very good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
It's a great privilege to be here on this platform. I would like to thank College Dunia for organizing such kind of vibrant subject which needs to be addressed by all the academicians, because we see last 1.5 years students are really vulnerable. A lot of dilemma is there in their mind. They feel like lost. They feel like they are paying for something which is they are not getting. Maybe like online is just a substitute for offline education. After the pandemic, or maybe last couple of months, we thought of that students will come back, and after Diwali they can join us. So they will enjoy their campus life. Now, what is campus life exactly? Why it is so important? I would like to quote here Albert Einstein, that it's not that I am so smart, it's just that I stay with problems longer. So probably COVID-19 says that he wants to continue with the problem, and that is how we see the new Omicron coming up with the huge problem and threats again. So getting education isn't so easy, and most students experience challenge during their degrees, last couple of years. The important thing is to believe in yourself and not to give up. Reinvent the future applies not just to what students can do with an education, but what universities, colleges, faculties, and students altogether can do to improve everyone's experience. I feel it's not only students' experience, but we have to think about faculty experience, all the staff experience. They are also undergoing a lot of pressure, tremendous stress, and old school boys like us, we are also first time facing online, offline, and it was a dilemma for us also. So I would say this subject is all about not only for students, but all the participants, all the academicians also. There are many who have done first time online sessions and all. Now we are regularized, but in the initial stage, everybody were very vulnerable. How to do, what to do, how to deliver the lectures, how to organize. The technical glitches were there, internet, so a lot of things were there. So the spirit was challenged like never before by this pandemic, and I feel it is, at least for some time, it would continue to complicate our lives as academicians. Students' experience, in terms of encompasses all the aspects, living life in campus, academic studies, social interactions, and the campus life. At the same time, the students can excel, through various programs. Students have a lot of autonomy, need to have autonomy, and give a lot of spaces and opportunity to explore different aspects with their identities, to learn more from the campuses, because campus doesn't teach only curriculum. It teaches all the aspects, social aspects, personal and individual level. Once you into the campus, you see the greenery, you sit there, you feel the vibes of the campus, and that really teach you to learn from the successes and mistakes and failures, which reflect the students, overall their decision-making abilities, their resilience towards all the problems what we face. At this moment, I would like to just emphasize a couple of points. We need to look into two fronts, that is academic curriculum front and extra activities or the open activities for the students. So in this session, I would wish that we have to categorize how academically we can accelerate, and so that students feel, in a campus life more important and more better way. And the second part is extra activities, what we can give them so that they will be open and they will be explore, and they feel that whatever they lost last couple of years, they will regain their confidence, regain their all strengths, and most important part, their campus life. So it is our time now to reinvent, reassure students, to bring campus life together and make it more valuable. So with this opening note, I would like to thank you, all the organizers, and all the senior counterparts. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sandeep. Now I would like to invite Professor Bindya Nair, Professor, School of Liberal Arts, formerly Head School of Law. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much, College Dunya. I would really appreciate the opportunity given and coming up with a subject like this. I could not agree more with the rest of the panelists who put forth the uncertainty driven by the Omicron virus now, the mutant. Looking at Indian learners, learning itself has been a perennial pandemic for Indian learners, and the COVID-19 has been a catastrophe. Not to mention coming back of the student adjusting to the new normal is an extremely tedious task. The students have faced an emotional trauma, physical trauma, loss of parents, loss of guardians, and getting back on campus. The kind of support that is needed, the campus, the universities have to be, extremely one step forward and ready to accept all these challenges that the students are facing and to give back the students what they really need. So today, it is no longer only teaching, learning that is provided by the universities. It is a whole new experience that we need to create. Right from the content that we are teaching them, right from the accommodation, the hygiene factor that needs to be maintained, the sanitization, and taking care of their emotional well-being. There is so much more now than just giving, awarding degrees to students.
Thank you, Professor Naik. Now I would like to request Dr. Manju Rugwani, Head School of Film and Media, Ajinkya D.Y. Patil University. Welcome, Dr. Manju.
Thank you. Good afternoon. A very beautiful and foggy afternoon to all of you. And Pune right now is in fog, enveloped in fog since morning. And thank you, College Dunia, for having this wonderful discussion on a very interesting, need of the time topic. As usual, I'm the last one to speak. I will agree with everyone with what they have got thoughts they have to share and emote. But all I could say is what has really happened in the last almost 2 years now, we all are learning together. We are all are moving together. We all are in the same boat. But one thing we all have to learn with and learn ahead with time is to understand how we can be an emotional source of strength for the students as well as the parents around them, because many of them are coming back to Pune to study, outpatient students especially. It's this gap we all have to bring. Like all of them said, learning experiences have also changed and it's no longer different even for us too, especially when you have a program like filmmaking happening, and there's a lot of happiness, there's a lot of joy, there's a journey, a discovery of life that's coming in. Of course, Omicron is creating a lot of scare. We don't know how the next few months is going to pan out. But all I would say, let's try and learn, be in hope and optimism, and things really come back to normal. So with this, thank you, College Dunia. I'm also looking forward to learn from each one of you of how we all been trying to cope up and we take it forward. Thanks, College Dunia, once again.
Thank you, Dr. Manju. Now I would like to invite Mr. Aman Mehra, Director and CMO, Stripe Student Accommodation. Hi, Aman. Thanks for coming today.
Good morning, everyone, and it's a pleasure to be a part of a panel where I'm not the only doctor. Firstly, and it's great to meet everyone. And thank you so much for your comments. And I'd like to start off by saying, I myself was a student, for living in hostels, going around the country, studying in places, and after especially after the pandemic, we've realized how important it is. As Dr. Sandeep also said, education is obviously one part of the entire deal where we are teaching students academics. But apart from education, I also always believe that the entire college experience of being around people, learning from teachers, learning from experiences in college, learning from your living experience is also a major part of what stays with you once college is done. And it's in fact, I'm out now after the pandemic to have extremely safe and hygienic places, but also places like Dr. Manju said very rightly, also places that kind of re-inspire people. It's been a very dull 18 months for students. As much as you try, studying online cannot be compared to studying offline, interacting with your teachers, being in person in an environment that helps you grow. It's something that you cannot compare, right? So we also need to kind of think about how we can re-inspire people, give them a place where they have a peace of mind especially for parents. I think that is one of the most important things that we are seeing at our end. The parents are looking at things like this, where for now, now safety, security, and comfort in terms of food and the environment where they're studying and where they're living is more important than anything else. And parents don't mind going the extra mile to have that peace of mind for their children. Coming to a new place, coming to a new city, especially after a pandemic, is not very easy. Being a parent. So I think we are trying to be a part of this side of the solution, where we are trying to provide accommodation which I would have wanted if I was a student, when I was a student. And I've been through problems where I had issues with privacy, with security, with hygiene. I would fall ill, then I wouldn't be able to study, and I would not have a good experience, and I would not score well, and I would not learn well. And we tried to solve this problem by coming up with a solution which was something very new for the country, which is kind of the norm abroad, but not in India yet. It's where I was inspired when I studied in England, and it's something that I would love to share with everyone attending this webinar as well, in terms of what we're doing, and I'd love to know your thoughts as well. So that would be my opening remarks, and I hope that we get all the kids back. I hope we have all the energy back very soon. It's nice to see students coming back to all our hostels. It's been 2 years of things being silent, and it's always great to have that energy back. We see them so happy. They come and tell us every day that it's not been easy for them as well. They've all gotten dull. They're very demotivated, but it's just nice coming back. So I hope this continues, and congratulations for all the work everyone's done. I'd like to thank everyone for getting things back to normal in terms of academics and colleges. I know it's not been very easy. It's in fact been extremely difficult, dealing with parents, the government, rules, regulations, new variants coming up every day. But congratulations, and thank you so much for putting in the effort from us as students. And those would be my opening remarks. And thanks for having me on the panel.
Thank you, Amal. So before starting our panel discussion, I would like to request you to set the context for the discussion.
Sure.
So
in terms of the context for the discussion, just to introduce what we do. So our company is called Tribe. We're into student accommodation and co-living. Student accommodation was specifically an area that I wanted to target because I've lived in hostels where I've lived with 8 people in a room, with 4 people in a room, with 6 people in a room. And I know how, if I had a much better place and a much better environment and a much safer and more hygienic environment, I would have done so much more in my academic life. I would have been able to achieve so much more. I would have had a much better experience than what I had. So this is a problem that I always had in my mind, and this is a problem that we've tried to solve. So our company is called Tribe Student Accommodation. We can move ahead to the next slide. We can move to the next slide. Yes, so we're an award-winning luxury student accommodation. We're currently based in Pune and Mumbai. These are actual pictures from our locations. We've tried to give it a very international experience because we are dealing with students now who are attending colleges like yours that are giving international level education. When we are giving an international level education, why not have an environment that can compete with the international standard of things. When we have CEOs now everywhere that are Indians, why not give our students also that kind of an experience? So we are currently in Pune and Mumbai, and we are looking to expand into other places. And the idea for this entire webinar was even for us to kind of learn, what are the pain points when it comes to things apart from the actual academics that can help students be a little more motivated, be a little more attentive, be a little more willing to come down to colleges and to attend universities again. We can move to the next slide. So why would a student need Tribe, and how are we different from, the usual accommodation that we see in terms of private players or on campus? We can move. So we have the highest standard of hostel living in the country. We have spent 2 to 3 years just to understand what is required in terms of hygiene, safety, what are the levels that we want to hit, and how we can bring this to an international level. We have been vetted by government agencies, and which is why we can guarantee that we have the highest standard of hostel living, especially when it comes to hygiene and safety. We can move ahead. We've also gotten a couple of awards. We've been rated Student Housing of the Year for the last 2 years. We're only a 3-year-old company, and unfortunately, we were affected by the pandemic. A year after we launched, which was an extremely successful year. And we ourselves are getting back to normal now. The students are coming back. But in our first year, we won multiple awards internationally and locally. Including Best Design Project, Fastest Growing Brands, the Safest Hostel in Pune and Mumbai, including Student Housing of the Year for 2 years in a row now. We can move ahead. So these are some of the pictures. I thought this would be the best way of showing you guys what we actually are doing and how we are different. So this is our location in Wakad, which is very close to Ajinkya Dewa Patil, Symbiosis Skills, Nikmar, Indira College as well. We started getting a lot of students from here. We can move ahead. So these are some of our spaces. I myself spend 3 to 4 months in designing spaces that motivate a certain kind of student from a certain kind of area. We want them to always be motivated. Even the messaging that we have, the kind of location and area and environment that we want to build has to be very holistic, has to be very, they would want to come down to college, live in college, get their entire student experience. So this is our location in Wakad. We can move ahead. So these are the sort of rooms that we are looking at. After COVID, in fact, luckily for us, we only believed in having single and 2 people in a room. And especially after COVID, now it's honestly become a norm where, it's safer and it's much more advisable to have, 1 or 2 people living in a room, including having their own bathroom as well. So this is what we came up with, and this is the exact photos of our location. We can move ahead. These are the kind of cafes that we have. So we have, we've tried to build cafes, which are work zones, study zones, cafes. We see a lot of students collaborating on projects in these cafes even long into the night. And they always tell us, that finally they've got a place where they can collaborate. We've got TVs everywhere, so they usually work on projects on those. So these are our cafes as well. Go ahead. These are some of our study areas and breakout areas. So personally, from my experience, I always wished that I had, places where I could sit with 7-8 people, different locations where I could work. Because, honestly, just working in the room or working just in a class on campus was not very motivating sometimes. Sometimes we need a place where, you can just bump off ideas, be a little more comfortable. We've given screens to everyone to work on projects as well. So this is common in all our locations. But these pictures are just for a couple of locations, just to give everyone an idea of what we are trying to do for our students. So these are our work and collaboration locations. These are our rooms again in Vimanagar. These are the actual pictures. We've given them space, we've given them time, we've given them a lot of comfort for them to really concentrate in college and really work much harder. We can move ahead. Again, we have a location in Koregaon Park as well. So these are our rooms in Koregaon Park. This is our building in Koregaon Park. This is our building in Mumbai. This is an only girls campus. So this is our cafe in Mumbai as well. These are again our study zones, like we have in every location. We've kind of tried to make it very UK, US. Also, we have been rated the most popular hostel with students in Pune and Mumbai, especially in Vimanagar and now coming up in Wakad. So obviously for us, hygiene and safety is extremely important. But apart from that, for a student perspective, we have very lively places. We have a lot of amenities that they would not get usually in other places. And we've been selling out every year since the year we started. So we're very glad for that. We can move. We're also known to be very, in terms of our quality, we don't compromise on our quality, and we try to build a very unique community. We want people to always collaborate with each other. We want people to, work, study, relax, but, we're trying to make environments where they really can be together. And everything is based around technology apps and different things like that to keep things, 2021. It's honestly unlike anything we've seen, and after this, I'd in fact honestly love to invite every one of you one day, to come have lunch with us at our locations, have a look, see what it is, and we'd love to have your suggestions as well, since y'all are the best person to ask for what we can do better for our students, since you all know them the best. We can move ahead. So what does a student get when they join Tribe? We can move. So fully air-conditioned rooms with ensuite bathrooms. This is standard across all our locations across India. We have single and twin rooms only, which is a COVID norm now. We have multi-cuisine international cafes with unlimited food. That includes veg and non-veg. We've kept even hygiene standards and sanitization standards for everything that comes into our hostel, including ingredients. So every apple that comes in is sanitized and checked for. Every grape that comes in is sanitized and checked for, which was a very difficult learning process during this entire 18 months. But like everyone here is that we've also been busy just trying to make things as safe as possible. Again, we have a keyless and cashless campus to keep things, with minimum touch. So we can move. I think we're getting a couple of questions, but I'll answer these questions I think at the end of the talk. We have a gym and fitness center because we believe. I also personally believe that being fit and having a gym is now something that is moreover ingrained into people's lives, especially in the time and age that we're living in. It's part and parcel of what we do every day to keep our minds fresh and active. We have chill zones and breakout areas because everything is not about only studying. It's also about getting to know each other, getting to know your peers as well. For security, we've got everything biometric and RFID based. We've got professional male and female security with CCTV 24/7. Like someone rightly said, it's also majorly about the parents now. And I would understand, if I had children that, if I was a parent and my daughter or son especially was going to another city and state, I would just want to know that they're completely taken care of 24/7, which is what we've done. We have a lot of community and growth events, including educational events, including fun events where we also try to educate them every month on how it would be to study abroad. Even real things like what it is. For example, if I'm a marketing head of a company, what it actually is to be a marketing head. What do I do on a daily basis? If I am an investment banker, what do I do on a daily basis? And is this something that would resonate with you? So these are things which I wished I would have gotten as a student, where I would actually have known what it actually is in terms of a life and what I actually do on a daily basis. And we've seen in terms of feedback that this really helps students, surprisingly choose their final year projects. That's helped them a lot because they understood what they really want to do now. And that has helped them a lot. So that is something that we're continuing. Again, everything is technology based, app based, ERP based. Everything is taken care of by tech at our end. We can move. Again, these are a couple of other pictures. These are some of our chill zones. This is our cafe. We have single and twin rooms, like we said. We have a gym in every location. Again, this is our cafe in Viman Nagar. And that's our study zone in Vile Parle, which we've built different spaces where people can collaborate. Yes, we can move. So this was an extremely important part of it, which we realized had to be addressed majorly. What about COVID? Now that we're seeing variants, in fact, we took a call last year, even though things were subsiding, and again when they were subsiding in March, that we have to be ready for at least another 10 waves and at least another 10 variants. That was our goal, because in a world where variance is so unpredictable, things are happening that have never happened before. There's no point looking at the past, and we're looking at eventualities which we cannot fathom now. So we looked at 10 other variants, and we've set up ourselves for the next 5 years, assuming that this will go on at least till then. So our hostels are sanitized daily. Every food item is sanitized and tested. We have temperature signers and sanitizers everywhere, which is standard norm. Our rooms are socially distant, 6 feet, which is government norm. We also have a quarantine facility in every location. So in case anyone ever catches the virus, we have a complete protocol where our staff is trained, including our housekeeping staff to our heads are trained on how to deal with such a situation within the next 3 hours. So we have quarantine rooms in every facility, after which we have tie-ups with every hostel. every hospital, in every location where there is a process where they can come and take a student or take a resident and completely heal them. We also pay for the medical expenses until their parents can be contacted and they can get back to us. So we believe these things are very important, especially psychologically and emotionally, in case something goes wrong, things like finances, things like security and safety. So we've kind of tried to be as flexible as possible and help them as much as possible. These are our 4 locations currently. We will also be expanding very, very soon to Delhi and Bangalore within the next 6 to 8 months. Also many more in Bombay. Our prices start at rupees 20,000 per month. This includes, we can go ahead. I'll show what this includes. So this includes breakfast, snacks and dinner. Everything is unlimited. We don't believe in capping our students on anything, including veg food, non-veg food. Every meal of ours is a 7-course meal because we believe food is the most important part of a hostel, which is also something that is overlooked a lot of times, especially for students. So we've gone all out on our food. Our laundry is unlimited. So we are basically trying to build an environment where a student doesn't have to think about these daily things. They don't have to go back to an apartment and think about, oh, I have to pay this bill, or the maid has to come, or the cook has to come, or I have to go and buy groceries. We try to eliminate everything that a student, would have to waste their time on apart from academics and just living a good student life. So food is unlimited, laundry is taken care of, housekeeping and linen change happens twice a week, unlimited Wi-Fi, which is like oxygen nowadays, unlimited electricity and water. We just go back. We have gym access for all our residents. We have events, which are every month, so 12 events a year. We also give our students merchandise as a welcome, and we have smart TVs everywhere so they can collaborate, watch things, learn things, work together on projects. Yes, we can move ahead. So these are our contact details. This is how, you just go back and, if anyone needs to screenshot this is how they can get in touch with us. Our website is tribestays.com. Like somebody's asked in the chat as well, everything of ours is unlimited, including electricity, food, laundry, housekeeping, everything is unlimited. So we don't believe in charging for things like this, to just get that nick off our students' minds. We can move ahead. And this is our social media. This is where you all can get in touch with us. And thank you so much, everyone, for your time. I hope I didn't take too much of everyone's time. But thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Amal. So we will start our panel discussion now. Before that, I would like to thank our audience. I can see a lot of attendees. So thanks for joining us, folks. Keep your questions coming. We will be more than happy to answer your queries. Thank you so much. So starting our panel discussion, I would like to ask Dr. Asmita, what are your views on the journey of institutes in the pandemic? According to you, what are more changes we are expecting in the coming days?
Okay, what we have learned in last 18 months is that we need to be more flexible and resilient. And as everyone agreed that before pandemic, we were definitely not ready for the virtual world. So I don't think any one of us had taught virtually. And this pandemic, in fact, forced us to adopt technology, which in a way is a very good thing. And we all Indians are very good at jugaad. So that is in our blood. So I think we were the country who adopted this technology very quickly and efficiently. And hats off to even those school teachers who adopted it so well and so quickly that the learning process was not hampered to that extent. Because when I talk with our counterparts in the European Union or outside India, they were quite reluctant and hesitant to adopt technology and go in an online mode for teaching purpose. So I think we are good at adopting it quickly, and that is going to be the new normal going forward. That's what I believe. Because what people have learned in last 18 months is that while sitting at home, most of the things were taken care of, and they were able to spend time with their loved ones, especially parents. And so people are really reluctant now to go back to the old life. So that is same even for education institutes like ours. So students are now here. What happened, or another positive thing which came out of this pandemic, was we were able to reach out to many people from different parts of the world. So we were able to invite them as a visiting faculty. We were able to invite them as a guest speaker. So location was no more a bar, right? So that actually helped us to improve our teaching learning process, and that will continue. Even post-pandemic, I think we would reach out to people who are not in India, who are outside India, who will not be able to travel, but they will be able to connect with our students for interaction. So that will help. Even our classes, which are currently in a blended mode, where we are having online as well as offline classes, majorly online, because not all students are back to the campus. So we are conducting it in online mode. I think that's the scenario everywhere. So some of the classes will still continue to happen in online mode. That's what I believe, because it's so easy to connect. And so definitely we are not going to just do away with this online. There will be a portion of our classes which will continue to happen in online. That is point number one. Point number two is most of the institutes under Symbiosis, we offer residential programs. Now, there is no substitute for in-person learning, because this is something which is the most important feature of these residential programs. And we do have hostel facility available. So we are eagerly waiting for our students to come back, because though we are able to teach them in a virtual mode, they are really missing out on collaborative learning. And so we definitely want them to come back. So it may happen that people who are still not ready to come back to the campus, it will not be a mandatory thing on them to come back in the coming future, that is at least for this semester. But going forward, if everything comes back to normal, we definitely want people to come and stay on the campus, because the kind of learning that happens in this atmosphere, it is priceless, and we cannot have a substitute for that. So that will happen. But as I said, for training purpose, we may adopt this hybrid mode, where we will have some classes online and some offline. So that is what we are planning. And of course, there are courses like engineering, medicine, where they have to be here for the lab work and the hands-on experience. So there again, we cannot compromise on that learning. So that will continue, but let's see how things pan out.
Thank you, Dr. Asmita. Now I would like to ask the same question to Dr. Sandeep. So what are your views? Like, what have we learned so far? What more changes we are expecting in the coming days?
Yeah, I would like to just add up of what Dr. Sucheta said. It's like anyone, anywhere, anytime. So we have to be very student-centric. Now students are in more demand. What they want, we have to give. So choices we have to provide to them. So it could be blended education, like in Ajinke D.Y. Patil University, we are very much promoting before pandemic also online mode sessions. All right, so almost 40 to 50% we have to combine with offline, online, depending on the situation. But we have to offer what students require. It could be accommodation-wise also. Like we have brand new, newly built up hostel rooms, which are more than 5-star facilities, along with all the food and all supplements what we require. Like accommodation is one part, but besides that, what we offer in the campus, like we have a football ground. We are a green campus. We have a football ground. We have all indoor, outdoor games, which are very integral part of students' learning and personal development. So the sports zone really helps students to develop their. Some students may develop as a sports person also. That is why in campus accommodations is one part which is very essential. Like in a hostel, we have at ADY we have 1,000+ rooms available. We accommodate every time, especially girls and boys. And parents still they trust on universities and college hostels because they have a bond, they have a trust, they have a that kind of connection with teachers, parents, and faculties and the students. That is why at this moment still, as per my knowledge, students do prefer internal hostel rather than outside hostel, because end of the day it is connected to the institutions where your classrooms are located, where your other facilities are located, your canteens, cafes are located, because बहुत कुछ होता है canteen में और cafe में, because that is how you develop your life, your campus life. That is what we need to reinvent. and that is how we need to open up with maximum open activities like I mentioned earlier, could be in two parts: curriculum development and the content change. At the same time, activity change. Like we have to access students, give more access to students, develop themselves and to gain their confidence, in the campus learning. That is how we believe that we can offer more facilities, so that we can reinvent and we can make their experience, enrich their experience with maximum activities. So we could have more interaction with the students, offering more trainings, internship opportunities, offering more extra support, and mental and the health issues also we can address. So reinvention of library and learning experience, because now we have connected with all world-class libraries, Delnet and all. So we have all online resources available, which could be available at universities only. So university give access students to learn on the online mode, through the libraries, through the expert suggestions, to the expert tutors. So the reinventing on the extracurricular activities. So there are so many things university can do because it's on a larger platform as compared to any organization. End of the day, we are permanently here for students' learning. And we are here for giving students education and making their career as option, right? So I feel that student has the right to choose all the options, whether to stay inside or outside, depending on their choice, their capacity, their spending capacity, the parents' will. So end of the day, universities' hostel premises are always better and promoted as a trustworthy and goal-centric and support students' life. Okay, that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sandeep. So now I would like to ask Dr. Tarun, like we have discussed, that there is no substitute for in-person learning. We need to update our curriculum. So from a student point of view, how it has impacted students until now, like not coming to campuses as there are no social activities to hone their personality or to take part in extracurricular activities. Can you share your viewpoints?
Yeah, thank you. So I'm going to what the question you have asked me. I will divide it in the two aspects. One is the teaching learning, and second the comfort in that campus. So we are under the Faculty of Engineering, and it's a very unique institution where experiential learning is very much important. While I'm talking about geoinformatics, data analytics, and the data sciences, which institute I am handling over here. These kind of programs require that your experiential learning. These programs require that your practical and hands-on experience, which need to be there. If we'll go back, say that the 20 months before, when only the one Skype platform was available to talk to the people outside. But after 20 months, we can see that the n number of platforms are available where that you can deliver that your lecture, or you can invite so many guest faculties. So here, when I'm talking about the learning, offline learning, I have talked to my students and a couple of days back, and I have taken a survey of that one. So I have seen that almost 80% students, they are agree, and they said that offline learning is that they have increased their learning actually during this offline, when we have opened our campus after 8th of November. So in these 20 days, 25 days, almost 80% students, they have increased their learning around the 60 to 65%. Because when we are talking about offline learning, it's a teacher and students interaction, and after that teacher and student interaction, you have a peer learning. We are going to get more in a peer learning rather than that student and teacher interaction, and that we were missing while that we were doing this online learning. However, this nowadays it is going to be added advantage when we have online learning is as strong as well as that the offline learning. So the blended mode of learning, hybrid mode of learning will be a good, say the practice, where that the pupil or that experts from different countries, they can also connect with us and they can deliver that their expertise area. This is that for the learning part. And when I come to that the comforts, 70% students, they said that they are very comfort with that campus. So our campuses are very much well equipped. While I'm talking about their accommodation, while I'm talking about their classrooms, while I'm talking about that health and the hygiene practices, which make them the emotionally or that the psychologically it's promote that and it increase their learning. So our hostels are having rather than that the interior, rather than that that internal equipments, we are equipped with that the medical facility, that the round clock medical facilities available in our all hostels which we have in the Symbiosis. A part of this, that in the campus we are having doctors available on time. We have that the psychological and emotional well-being center. Those are basically covering that any kind of the trauma if students are going through, that we are dealing with that. So these are the facility which we are providing to learn actually, because that if we don't have that the psychological support to that students, then that we may be failed to give them that offline learning. So this way that we are increasing learning, and we have seen that students, they are getting it. They are showing that their interest also in the campus. They are showing they want to be in a campus. They are doing their practicals. They are doing their experiential learning, and it shows. If you see their faces, you can understand. They are smiling faces. You can understand. Yes, they are learning and they are happy in the campus. So thank you for this question.
Thank you, Dr. Tarun. Now, I would like to know opinions of Dr. Manju. Like Dr. Tarun said, 80% students agree that they are learning more in offline teaching. So, according to your view, how it becomes important to start on campus learning?
First and foremost, as a film and the media school out here, I think nothing can replace campus learning to make good films, happy films, positive films. When we did in the online mode, I mean, what was the gap missing with the students? It's the energy and the environment outside to observe things. And all these while they were locked in the four corners of the wall, they were just not being able to create or visualize things. They were only visualizing within the four walls of things, and that could be reflected in their projects, in their films, in their storylines, in their blog, or maybe in their poster work that we have given. But what we realized is, and we have called back the students in the campus, there's so much of energy. Students have a feeling of high emotions, very high, especially when they are coming to the lab and doing their editing work, or they're just picking up the camera from the lab and going out in the campus and shooting stories. But what I realized in the last few days is they are literally actually learning with the sophisticated instruments that they have, especially all the while we were teaching them on the iPhones, on the app. But when they come back here and telling a story, that can only happen when we give them more spaces and more experience outside the campus, outside the four walls of their home. What I also realize is, since the students have come back, students are absolutely extremely happy that they are not under the nose of their parents. So their imagination power and their creativity power, the language that they are using at home was little disciplined. Then they come back outside the campus, and because they are trying to move out from the lingo that they are using in the social media and coming and using in the outside world, that's big change in terms of behavior. That is what we have experienced, the attitude that is there. That is the positive energy that we see. On the other side, we see a lot of students not being open to open up while they are being to talk to their own peers and to own friends. And I think this offline campus mode is helping students to open up, to talk to their faculty, to talk to their friends. That now there's a lot of bonding. They're talking with human beings as well. They were talking with everybody in the virtual mode. And I think that big change has already happened. So that campus learning is the best way to bond, to build confidence. And they're also learning to adapt with the new situation. For simple things, when we were doing online learning, they were in the comfort zone of the living room. And when it's offline learning, there's more of discipline coming in, and there's more of energy, fun-based learning activities coming in the student. And that is more important, because all these experiences we see get reflected in the project that they do it with us. So I'm hoping to see a wave of new films, happiness, positive projects coming in, because I think their curiosity also will increase. Thanks. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Manju. Now I would like to ask Professor Bindya, like we have discussed importance of on-campus learning, but with the constant changes from remote learning to coming back to campuses, how it has impacted the student learning as a whole?
Reiterating the fact that discussed by Dr. Asmita, Dr. Manju and others, the fact that in-person learning cannot be substituted. When we were on the online mode, it was more of joining the bandwagon of other social media platforms that are actually grappling with gaining students' attention or their consumers' attention. So the same happened with education. When we are trying to get attention of the student to remain engaged in the course that we are taking. So it became a challenge for the faculties as well to keep learning, to keep, we used to keep having these workshops and webinars and training programs for our faculties on all the various kind of tools and techniques that can actually keep the students engaged. But then how long? How long can you keep them engaged? You know, like they change their social media platforms from Facebook to Insta to Snapchat, Twitter. They are going to change, and they will not remain engaged in the online courses. So offline and coming back is very important. Another situation that we got to see is students who are active in the online mode have suddenly changed when they came, on campus. We've had cases of panic attacks. We have had cases of depression, anxiety, students having difficulty in actually adapting to their peers and adapting to the fact that they have to actually stand in front of the audiences for presentations and other evaluations. So all this has made us as faculties and made us as a university as a whole think in a whole new level. So there is more counseling that is given to students. We started with happiness workshops, mental well-being workshops and webinars on a constant basis to keep these students informed and aware on how they need to change themselves. So I think the emotional well-being has taken a front seat. And more than that, it is on the comfort part, it is the parents are looking for a home away from home. So they are looking at creating that home experience for their wards, wherein they will get help, either be it from the doctors or their faculties or the counselors. Everything needs to be available at the fingertips. So researchers have actually named a concept for people, for especially students who have come back after the lockdown. It is called as the lockdown fatigue syndrome. So the students are less enthusiastic, less competitive, less motivated to do anything. So when they are online, the rush that you feel after a period of time, because the energy is so much around you that it makes a very big difference when you come on campus. And even for the faculties, there is a different bond altogether. After seeing the students that we've taught online with their cameras off all the while, you suddenly see them. There is a new bond, and the bond that is created cannot be replaced with anything. So I think the emotional factor and creating that experience for the students is extremely important now. So resilience, reinventing, relearning are the things that are going to remain as the new norm.
Thank you, Professor Bindya. I would like to ask the same question to Dr. Patil. From your experience or from your point of view, how the student learning is impacted as a whole? The constant changes, like we can also expecting a new wave, or some in the colleges opening up, but there's a news of new wave coming up. So how it has impacted or it will impact the student learning?
Okay. Myself, Dr. Patil, I'm from D.Y. Patil University, Pune, Ambi. We have a campus of 60 acres, and we are having higher education, that is engineering college, architecture college, design college. There is School of Design, School of Engineering and Technology, School of Management, Polytechnic, School of Agriculture. And as far as this pandemic is concerned, the students, when they were doing the online, that is the proper engagement of students was not there. That was the biggest problem. So there was a challenge for the faculties how to enhance the engagement of the students as good as the physical teaching learning. That is a very important task. So you have to, a teacher must be faculty should be a creative one. So that you should take 15 minutes lecture and then you should ask some quiz, take some quiz test of 5 marks or 10 marks, so that we can see that they are engaged or not. And we can ask some questions, or we can show some videos. I can ask, faculty can ask students to do some presentation of 5 minutes on certain topics. So we can enhance the engagement of students during the online. We have experienced this and practiced this in our campus, all our faculties, when it was online. And now when it is in offline mode, and the people, that is students, are ready to come to the campus, because we are having, that is very residential hostel in our campus. There is a story hostel with all facilities. We sanitize each and every building, classrooms, rooms, everything daily. Sanitation is there. Then there is some counseling team is also there in the campus. They counsel the students, they counsel the faculties. Faculties are also counselors for wearing the mask, in sanitization. We have a very good canteen in our campus. You can get multi-state foods in our canteen, and they can enjoy the canteen also. Also, we have the open gym in the campus also, and they can have some exercise over there. And a very natural greenery is there in your campus. So students are happy to come to the campus and enjoy Wi-Fi facilities there, and they can enjoy more. So the responsibility of any educational institute is students should be student-centric, because give the students what they need and when they need it. It is very, very important. Also, we have tie-up with some of the hospitals and some of the doctors. Within 5 minutes, the doctor can, some residential doctor is also there in the campus, and they can take care of the students about that. But now, 100% students are not coming, but at least 50 to 60% students are coming to the campus, and they are enjoying this the beauty of the campus and what they missed for the last 2 years during the online learning and online learning. So physical learning, there is no alternative for physical learning, but there are advantages and limitations of both virtual learning as well as the physical learning. In case of online learning, as far as the campus placement is concerned, or you can arrange some industry expert lectures from top R&D managers or the experts from any industries all over the globe. We organize the induction programs from various experts all over the globe, industry experts, managers of the companies, CEOs of the companies, residents of the companies, and they share their experiences with the students. That what is the requirement, what is the future of the students for higher education, what is the requirement, what that is quality the students should have. So along with the technical competency, what soft skills, behavioral skills, analytical skills. So they should have all these things. We also that is organize various induction programs for this, and students are happy for that. And when they will come to the campus now, we will be organizing some of the events that is physically, and they are eager to have these physical events also. and there is more placement also. Placement is also increased. Though it was lockdown, the blooming lectures for the placement were there, and placement was also better for most of the students. 80% students they have been placed in good companies like Infosys or Capgemini and Wipro and so on. So that. Also, as far as education policy is concerned, NEP 2020, we the DY Patil University Pune RP believe on multidisciplinary teaching learning. Because only one discipline teaching learning is not important. Because suppose if you take for example Google car, there is a driverless car. So whenever you see Tesla has developed the driverless car, so they need the experts from electrical engineering, electronics engineering, mechanical and computer. So all these engineers can sit together and they can apply their knowledge and to develop this driverless car. So there is a multidisciplinary approach. So in case of new education policy, research and multidisciplinary approach is very, very important, and we are trying to implement this in our campus. So these are some of the things, and as far as teaching tools are concerned, there is communication channels are crucial for the remote working. There is video conferencing, chatting, video captures and voice notes, emails that we use for this communication with the students and the parents. Also, we take all the stakeholders like parents, students, some of the society people in confidence, so that they will be free to send their words to our campus, and there will be nothing, no fear in their mind as far as our campus is concerned. Also, the technology using digital, our faculties are trained to use the digital tools effectively, because it has to be there. Otherwise, it is impossible to go for the online learning. This content creation, video content sharing, and we can use various tools like Google Drive, Office 365, Zoom, Transit Conference, ThinkTalk, then task management, tooling. So all the new upcoming tools we are using in our campus. There is a very good IT infrastructure there in our campus, and IT academy is there, and we are utilizing the tools in the classroom as well as in physical mode as well as in online. And definitely this we are planning to have the reimagination, reform, then resilience, and definitely this we are again, because this is a continuous process. Reinvention in educational institute for the benefit of the students, it's not a one-day process. It is a continuous process. It is a collaborative process, and we can learn from various top universities or various organizations. We can discuss the issues, we can solve the issues, and we can give the better solutions today as well as tomorrow. That is my. These are some of my thoughts from our campus. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Patil. So we have discussed like importance of physical learning or offline learning. So I would like to ask Dr. Asmita, like what kind of, as we are reopening the campuses, so what kind of precautionary measures needs to be taken at an institution level to ensure the safety of students?
I think we are already received the guidelines from the Government of India, from UGC, and of course from the state of Maharashtra. So as per the guidelines received from government, we have laid down our own policies, and in fact when we opened our campuses in the month of November, we have asked all our students who are coming to the campus to get their fully vaccinated. Without both the doses administered, we are not allowing anyone. So every student has to be fully vaccinated. That is point number one. Point number two is they are also doing RT-PCR test before they arrive on the campus, just 48 hours before. And when they come in the campus, we ask them to do the quarantine. That is for a week. They were not allowed to move outside. In fact, not even outside the hostels. So they were not allowed to come to the even academic block. And then when they move, we are taking extreme precaution about their safety and security. All the hostel rooms have been cleaned and sanitized properly on a regular basis. And we are keeping just 2 people in a 3-bedded room. So we are trying to maintain that social distancing norms, and also food is being served in the mess and cafeteria, which has been properly sanitized, and all the measures have been taken, and that will continue to happen. So we are not forcing students to come to the academic block, because since most of the classes are happening in the online mode, so they are free to join the classes even from their hostel rooms. And we are asking them not to venture out just like that, because if there is any urgent need to go and see somebody, that is fine. But otherwise, we have medical facilities available on all our campuses. We also have mentors and people who can help them in case of any emergency. So generally, we are not encouraging our students to go out, to be honest. So we have big campuses, we have all facilities, gymnasium and all sports facilities are in place. So actually, students don't need to go out. So we are discouraging them to move out. We want them to be on the campus and just enjoy the campus. So that's what we are going to do even for next 1 or 2 months.
That's great. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. So, Aman, I would like to ask from, like, you have been in this industry. Can you share your thoughts? What kind of precautionary measures the institution can take for the safety of students?
Yes, absolutely. I think Dr. Asmita covered most of the topics. So, we are dealing with parents and students on a daily basis when they're coming and leaving their students. So, we get a lot of questions in terms of, we all know what the college is doing. What are you all going to do? If my daughter or son has something, how will you all take care of it? So I think moreover, everyone now is quite, everyone now is moreover vaccinated. We don't even have one person right now who is not double vaccinated. We only take vaccinated students. And, there are sanitization measures everywhere. We have tie-ups with hospitals, and we have quarantine facilities in our rooms as well. But, like Dr. Asmita said rightly, I mean, there is only so much that you can do at the end of the day, because these students are going to go out, they are going to meet people, they are going to interact with other people. But I think the most that we can do at our end is to just make sure that in case anything happens, we have everything in place, our SOPs are in place, and we avoid it as much as possible. So I think that is moreover what is taken care of at our end as well.
Sure. Thanks, Aman. Now, I would like to ask Dr. Tarun, in context with what we have discussed, the precautionary measures institutions should take for the safety of students. So, I would like to know from you, are the institutes ready with all the hygiene protocols, accommodations? Not only they are big institutes, medium level, small. So, how ready we are for opening our campuses?
So, we as a Symbiosis know that we are having a very big campuses, and we have a lot of facilities in fact. So if I look on this, know that according to the Government of India guidelines and according to the UGC guidelines, we have a change that there's so many parameters like that. The one room supposed to be the 3-bedded room, so the 2 students are going to be there in a one room. Then a part of this, that in campus, we are doing that, the different batches, means we have segregated one batch into that, so many different batches. It may be increased, or it has increased that load on faculty, but it is good for that students' health and hygiene to create that more physical distance. So we have made that one student on a one bench supposed to be there. So these kind of precautionary measures we have taken. Same thing on that. Our laboratory, we have made it that 50 student strength of laboratory supposed to have only that for the 1.5. So 25 or 22 students supposed to be there within the laboratory. So social distancing as well as the physical distancing would be there. If we'll see that that campuses are that well supported by that our medical facility, we have a state-of-the-art medical facility where that the doctors are round the clock available, as I mentioned you the previously also. We have a psychological well-being centers which is required during these days. And this is required while you are going for in a campus or while you are going to be open your campus or big campus. So these things should be necessary for that each and every campus if you are thinking to open in that coming month. Until unless those things are not going to be subsided, what that the global scenario is going on. Once the things is going to be subside, things again going to be on the normal. Rather than I'm more working towards that new normal. Rather than I say that it's normal. If we are going to be achieve that normal, that would be the better actually. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Taran. So I would like to ask the same question to Dr. Sandeep. How ready we are with all the hygiene protocols, accommodation? Do we have the proper hostel facilities, like having one or two students in a room only? So how ready we are according to your viewpoint?
As previous speaker said about all WHO, Government of India, Government of Maharashtra, even local bodies, like in Pune, PMC gives the guidelines. So Ajinkya D.Y. Patil University, for the hostel purpose, we all follow the standards. What is explained now is more or less same standards we have to abide in all the institutes and universities, because it's a matter of safety and precautionary measures. So government has very strict and stringent on these issues as far as all the university concerns, and we have to follow the UGC guidelines. So everyone, those are attached to university and the UGCs. As far as Ajinkya D.Y. Patil University, we have 1,000+ capacity hostel, and we also follow the same like alternative, like giving 3 beds room for 2 people, or maybe we have food facility and then keeping distancing. As far as hotel management concerned, which is connected to hostel and food. So we are also having small batches, and then we call for lectures and practical in small batches, so that students are away from each other. The major issue is just keeping distance from the each other, so that it allows us to conduct suitable practical the lectures. The alternative benches we allow, and all the conditioning and mentoring facilities always there. Medical facilities always we provide. In-house doctors and nurses are there. Since we have all the medical facilities in the campus. Also, we tied up with hospitals like Ruby Hall and Jahangir Hospital for medical emergency. And still, it is up to students. Student has choice whether to join the campus or enjoy the online mode. So, Ajinkya D.Y. Patil University, believes that we have to give student choice whether they want to come to the campus or they want to stay at home and continue with the education. So we are very much ready. After Diwali, we find students are coming, especially the practical-oriented courses, the programs like hotel management or film and media. Those students are reporting to the college. But yet again, it depends on the students and parents how much they are comfortable they can join. So overall, ADYPU really believes in following all the norms, UGC listings, and the government norms, especially Pune were very much on highlight because of COVID-19. But at this moment, we are normal, you can say. It's not a new normal, but we are as it is before pandemic. And we are happy that the entire scenario is good at this moment, and there is no panic situation around. And the precaution is very important. Precaution measures are very important, and it's on individual level, student, faculty, staff, university. Everyone need to follow the same, and we ourselves need to be taken care of ourselves and our campuses. Then only it is possible to go ahead with this, because in future we never know such situation would be there, and we have to be ready for we have to be resilient to such kind of situation, because things are not in our hand. What is in our hand, that we have to implement. That is precautionary measures. So basic all COVID appropriate measures we all follow, and we take the first precautionary steps where we can stop spreading it out. If we have cases, then we can report to the hospitals and we can report to the government. But at this moment, Ajinkya D.Y. Patil University welcomes our students with all the safety measures, all the hygienic conditions, and we assure them that we are ready to welcome them, stay in our hostels, to enjoy our campus life and to enjoy the education. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sandeep. Now I would like to ask Dr.
I request you that I have another meeting scheduled.
Yeah.
So I want to take your leave.
Yeah, even I would like to take your leave if you're
Okay,
Yes,
sure.
ma'am. I also want to thank
Thanks.
you.
So we just
Thank
have
you.
2 questions left. So if you could, yeah.
I will exit. Is it okay? I can
Yeah,
exit.
sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
having me.
Thank you all of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for
Thank you,
coming.
sir. Thank you, Sira. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
So now I would like to ask Dr. Manju, like in terms of accommodation, what are your preference for students living in hostel or they can take apartment post pandemic? So what's your point of view? Should they prefer hostel or having apartment apart from college hostels? Dr. Manju, you are on mute.
Unmute.
Yes.
I think you put me in a catch-22 situation to answer this question. So if you ask me what Ajinkya Ry Patil is doing, I think Dr. Sandeep has rightly put everything in its place. But we all, let's be very upfront and very open to this discussion with Aman Mehra himself, the millennial sitting out here, and we all are dealing with millennials today. And even as a school head also, I deal with millennials. If you ask me from my point of view, I think it's a student's choice. We have to expand your wings where to stay. But if a course like mine, which is filmmaking, media, communication, digital marketing, social media, I think they should stay outside the campus so that they're not bonded with the restrictions that the campus life hostel gives us. So I think Aman can reverberate with what I am saying with me here. And I think he has a bigger role and responsibility outside than in the campus here, because their life is sort of fun and freedom, and they have the nightlife. For example, I talk about the nightlife. So let's not deny that with the student fraternity today. Without a nightlife, students' learning will never start or end. Unless they need a nightlife, their learning, I think the concentration and the eager and the will to learn new things comes after they're all on a high. So I think that's the way I look at. So having said that, if they are outside the campus, especially on a weekend, they have a freedom choice of their own. The more we give them the open spaces and freedom, now freedom, I think I leave that choice to the student community. End of the day, they have to express their freedom and their thoughts, the ideas that they come with. So I think that is more important. So whether you stay in a hostel, they are limited to their creative thinking process. When they are out, they have more things to explore, more things to observe. They have more people to talk with, connect with the outside world. They have more time to socialize, and they learn more with each other. So it's a mixed balance we need to create.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Manju. So I would like to ask same question to Professor Bindya. What do you prefer, student living in hostel or outside campus?
I think both have their pros and cons. On campus, you definitely can collaborate with your peers, with your teachers, with the faculty. You can access the equipments and other facilities on campus. Off campus, especially in the pandemic, again, there is the question of commuting and risking your health. Also, like Manju said, the experience is more varied when you are out of campus. Then again, if you look at the parents, from the parents' point of view, the parents would actually prefer students on campus because it gives them a more secure, safe environment rather than being out of campus, wherein it's very difficult to actually keep a hold on the students. So if out campus experience gives all of that is already in campus, security, hygiene, a personal space, then I think it is obviously for the student to opt where they want to live.
Thank you, Professor Bindya. Now I would like to ask Dr. Patil on the similar lines, like we discussed from the perspective of students. Like at the end of the day, we should leave choice to them. So I would like to know from the parents' point of view, where do they want their student to be inside campus or outside campus?
Okay. Some of the parents they are not ready to send their students to the campus because of this Omicron is coming, and there is some fear in their mind. So if he goes out, then he will wander here and there. Their one will wander here and there and have some this virus, and it is very difficult to control that. That is something in some of the parents' mind, and some of the parents say that they prefer to stay in the hostel of the campus, so that it is totally safety, all type of security, all type of hygiene, all type of cleanliness, and all type of again he can have this collaborative learning over there also. Without he can maintain the physical distancing, he can enjoy this hygienic campus, and he can learn and teaching and learning he can also do. That is also advantage.
Right.
So there are some of the advantages of the campuses. We at Divapal University in Ambi, we have a very good hostel and very good canteen and gym facility. We have very good cricket stadium. That is, we run the matches. Most of these cricketers come here and do the practice, which are there in India team. Because we have a very good, very big campus in Nerur Vasi. There is a great D.Y. Patil Stadium. That is cricket stadium, and they have a lot of lot of things to do in the campus. Those who are interested in the sport, they can enjoy the sport. Those who are interested in the this study, they can interact with the studies. They interact with the faculties. They can come to lab, do some project management. Anything they can do. There is an option to them what to do and what to not do. And also there are some mentors are also there in the campus. Some faculties are there. Continuous counseling is there. And we are taking care of students as a parental care in the campus. We are at Divapal University, Pune. So again, it is up to the parents. That is, some of the parents say yes, some of the parents say no. So it is up to them, because we cannot read that 100% parents will say let's go to the campus and do the physical teaching learning and so on. So it is up to the parents. But we, from our point of view, as per the guidelines of the government of Maharashtra, government of India, and this medical standard operating procedures for the educators, we are following all these norms, and we are ready in the campus so that the students can come to the campus and they can enjoy the hostel life and the campus life more reliable. So these are the some of the points from I would like to share from Divapal University, Pune. Thank you so much.
Dr. Patil, I just have a question.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, sir, if a student, just to clarify, are all the facilities in terms of sports, access to teachers, labs, etc., is this available for students only living in the hostel on campus, or is this available to all students of the college if, say, an external hostel is just across the gate?
There are some external. There is our in-campus hostel is there. There are 2 hostels in the campus, 8-story hostel, and some of the hostels are there exactly near to our compound. So many hostels, other hostels are also there. Private hostels.
So what I meant is, for example, we have a tribe hostel right opposite the gate of D.Y. Patil in Wakad, right? So is that access? So all your facilities on campus, including your staff, your sporting facilities, your gyms, etc., labs, they're also accessible by students who are not living on campus in the hostel, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody.
Okay. So all the panelists, we have discussed reinventing the student living experience from different perspectives: universities, students, parents. So Aman, I would like to have closing remarks from you, or like you mentioned, you tie ups with different colleges and universities. If they want to reach out to you, how can they do that?
Can I leave? Just a minute, madam. Can I leave for because I have some another assignment? Thank you so much for
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Aman.
Firstly, thank you everyone for all your comments. This was a great learning experience. And in terms of tie-ups, we are in fact looking actively at colleges who are now reaching out to us, especially post-pandemic, since there is a dearth of hostels on campus. And they also, now what colleges are realizing that instead of building the new hostels, they have started contacting us to directly tie up with Tribe to become, say, a hostel partner for that college as an extension of their own hostel. Also, we have also been getting approached by major institutes, in fact, some who are even a part of this webinar, to take over the existing hostels and run them as we would run Tribe, and to kind of try to bring them up even to a better level than they are. And so, in case anyone would like to contact us, I will contact you all anyway through email sometimes. So if anyone is interested, we would love to have this conversation. Another thing, Dr. Manju, in fact, when you were talking, I kind of had another idea. Our hostels are, we've received multiple awards internationally for our design and architecture as well. So they are used a lot for filmmaking, ads, and YouTube. In fact, there's a YouTube TV show that's also being shot at Tribe. So if you ever need to use our locations for any of your shoots, to do different things in terms of filmmaking and photography, it could be something which is quite interesting to you if you would like to have a look sometime.
In fact, Aman, this is something that I really reverberated it, because when it comes to doing student projects and student films, they are just within their indoors. But since you have, since filmmaking is a very different ball game, or for that matter, photography or an ad film, which is part of our built in our program, definitely we would do it. If you want, I can support you as a collaborative partner by being for our documentary film, which we can do collaboratively together, and you can promote it on your social media platform, which is actually part of our experiential learning project. With more on this, we'll catch up offline and we see what best we can do together. So that students also, for me, it's looking like a win-win situation for both of us. One, I'm giving spaces to students which actually where they are stuck at most places, they require permission to shoot. But if we collaborate, and that is the biggest hurdle for them to actually get access to locations to shoot. If it's in the campus also, for example, even if they have to shoot on the football ground, I still have to take a permission from the sports director to allow them to shoot. But I think this is a very open, you made me a sigh of relief for me, for students, especially when we can do it. No worries. I'll catch up with you offline, and I think we can do a lot of interesting learning projects together. And you are in Viman Nagar, we are in Lohegaon. I think that students hang out in Viman Nagar.
No, absolutely. We have all our locations that are designed very differently, which have their very own branding and design language. So all of them are open to you. Absolutely.
And even if we are close in Lohegaon, the best hangout place is Viman Nagar for students.
So that would be it. Also, if anyone ever wants to hold external classes, lectures, projects, or if you want Tribe to be involved in student activities on campus, we're all about collaborating and helping students come together and do things. So please feel free to contact me. We'd love to do it non-financially, financially, either way. But we'd love to be involved. So these are basically the ways that
we can.
Not
even that, since post-pandemic, we all are coming back, okay? And we may have a lot of conferences organized for external participants. And when they come for 2 days, 3 days, accommodation again becomes a hurdle there. So that's where we can also look at.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Aman. Thank you all. It was really enlightening, insightful session. Looking forward to connect with you all again.